Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mizrahi Manor and the Chosen Veggie Farm. Here's a new video, just trying to catch everybody up. I've been so busy with plowing and planting and seeding and chickens and the whole farming deal. I haven't had a chance to make any videos, but I'll just make a little quick one here, show you what's been going on. So right now I've got about half a dozen acres just freshly rototilled. It's been raining off and on all day, and it just comes down in sheets and then stops and then sheets and stops. So I've been in and out of the field. I haven't got a whole lot done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a one bottom plow and I'm going to run it right across this field just here in rows. And what you do is if you take that one bottom plow and you go once down this way and then you come back and do it back on the other side, it makes a nice big fat mound of dirt right down the middle, and then you can go ahead and plant all your plants right on top of that mound, and that holds a lot more moisture in the dirt for a lot longer. Sometimes in the summertime we can go a few weeks without rain, so it makes it easier for irrigation and things like that when I bust out the sprinklers. On top of that, when I go down to weed, it makes it a little bit easier to lift up the plants and get all the stuff, the weeds underneath. Now for the greenhouse, you can see I still haven't had a chance to get to the windows yet. I still need to cut all those out and pin down that plastic to the edges, but we'll get to that in time. So let's show you. I did get a chance to get the back ventilation put in right there, so that window was cut out. So as the seeds are starting to pop up, I'm in a mad dash to get everything watered, taken care of. These are cantaloupes and melons. You can see I got just this abundance of alfalfa sprout. I used horse manure this year from a friend of mine, and it had an abundance of alfalfa in it. So nothing wrong with it. It's just a pain in the butt to get out of the trays. So I just wait till the big seeds pop up and then I go through and pull them all out. But as we go along, you can see the cucumbers, pickling cucumbers. Each one of these trays holds, I think it's 72 or 82, something like that. So it's got quite a bit of seeds in there. So you got almost 100 per tray. You see the trays just keep going and going and going. We've got a couple different varieties of cucumbers, some for storing, some for pickling, some for just eating in salads. Bell peppers, or these are hot peppers, jalapenos, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, which are basically the same thing, you just let them ripen on the vine a little bit longer. Eggplant, okra, which is my favorite. Lots of broccoli coming in. Cauliflower. We've got beans. I've got a ton of different variety of beans. Cabbage, which none came up. Not a single one. You're going to bet that they're going to hear from me. What a cruddy batch of seeds. That was Liberty Gardens. So I'm not too happy with those seeds. I mean, not even one. I don't even know what happened. I mean, I can't imagine that I did anything different with those than I did with anything else. They were all done on the same day. Oops, left that there. So we got peas, sweet peas, and more beans. These dragon beans, these things are crazy looking. They're just going to be like a striped white with a maroon. I've actually grown them in the past. They're a bit bigger bean. They're kind of nice. Good for chilies and things like that. And then down here on the bottom are going to be all tomatoes. Hundreds of tomatoes. Oh, let me show you this little contraption. So I got this little spring open, so now we get nice fresh ventilation coming in instead of hitting that back wall like I showed before. So we are moving along, just at a snail's pace. It's a one-man show, so please forgive me if I don't get to products and videos as quick as you like. But if you remember in the previous videos, I mentioned before we had an industrial greenhouse here, and that was once moved, and then I planted potatoes here 1 year, and that actually did really well, but potatoes rob the soil of a lot of nutrients, so I had to put nice compost back in and manure and some leaves that I rake up, and I rototill all that in, so that's all nice and done now. You can see the raised beds in the back. That's going to be all carrots, I've decided this year. Every year I always debate what I want to do in it, because I put the the highest quality soils and dirts and everything go in those raised beds. So they're a lot easier to maintain. So I always like to put the most finickiest of plants in those, and it's a lot easier for me to weed when I'm not on my hands and knees. So usually herbs or carrots will go in those. So this year I decided I'm going to do all carrots in there, and I'm going to do herbs and potted plants in the greenhouse after I've got majority of my seeds out. Herbs grow so fast that I'm not really going to worry about it, and they're not a big high money-making crop for those who want to do farmers markets and homesteading and stuff like that. So, oh, you can hear they're felling trees. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Okay, so let's get to the chickies. These little buggers have grown and grown. My goodness, have grown and grown quite a bit in the last few weeks. They've got all their full feathers. Oh, here's a little interesting tidbit right here. This little building off to your left. Alright everybody, take a guess what you think that is, what that used to be for. It sits right next to the big barn. And no, it's not water. It's not a watershed, because it got electricity going to it. It took me a long time to figure it out, and then I found out from the sled's not connected to it. The slide's not connected to it, it's just leaning up against it. There's another little window up there. There's your hint. Little tiny door. And again, another little window right here. Let me show you. See? Little window here. Man, they're really felling those trees. Holy moly. What this is, and I found out from a young, well, he's not a young man now, he's in his 80s, but a young boy who used to work here at the time. He was an electrician now. He told me that used to be where they kept their pigeons, their carrier pigeons, for their messages. So that's the old mailbox house. So that's kind of neat. I got plans into bringing that back to life and painting it back the original it was and making that original pigeon house again. I thought that would be a neat little project. I don't know if I'll ever get pigeons for it, but I would like to restore it the way it was. Okay, let's go see the chickens. Alright, I got some chickens. About 3 weeks. There they are, they're running around. Okay, so off to the left you can see these. What I made is they're just 2x4s with slats going across, and these are where the chickens will roost during the day when they want to come out of the shade or the rain or the weather. Sometimes they like to sleep there at night, and that's where I prefer them to sleep instead of in the boxes. I got to kick them out of the boxes. And then here in the corner is the actual brood houses. They were just in there just a few days ago. I just let them out, and that's where I keep all the little chicks when they're teeny, so they don't get picked on by the bigger birds if we're breeding, or if they're small, they get added protection not only from the room but in this corner, and it keeps them isolated and keeps them underneath the heat and easy to make sure everybody's healthy and drinking and whatnot. And then array of watering systems. Okay, let me explain what all this crap is. Okay, there's 2 watering buckets. Were actually my ex-wife's idea, and it's not a bad idea. It's just not something I typically like to do. What it is, it's the type of water where you drill inside the bucket, and inside are little tiny knobs, and it's like a little drip system on the bottom. They peck at it and they can drink from it that way. Not really too keen on it. Just it's pretty crappy is what it is. So for the little guys, I do these little waterers, and then when they get bigger, I like these aluminum ones with little pressure spring valve on the side. You pull it up and it holds about 4.5 gallons, which is pretty good. And again, here's a small little feeder for them when they're small, and then as they get bigger, I do the hanging feeders. A lot easier, a lot less mess, because you can see right here this big fat ring. They waste a lot of food when they're younger, so as soon as you can get it off the ground, folks, that's your tip for the day. Get it off the ground. Same with your water. Get it off the ground. Keeps it a lot cleaner. So I put 2 little eye hooks up there, and then we have chains so they can eat and drink and keep everything clean. There is the only original hen box. This used to be a turkey coop. Back in the 1800s, they raised turkeys in here. Sorry for the mess. I'm building another hen post, but I built another box behind that. Then there's the original, and I built another one here. And all it is you just lift these up. It's just pretty easy. It's simple. Little dividers. I wish I could show you. A lot of people use all kinds of things to trick chickens, my children, asked me about that the other day, so I'm mentioning it. You can see right there are 2 different golf balls, and I keep golf balls in here, and my kids, and I hired a helper this year for a little bit, and he asked me why there are all golf balls inside these nest boxes, and it tricks the chickens into thinking that's a safe place to lay their eggs. So some people use wooden eggs. That's what they used in the old 1800s, is they had carved wooden eggs and paint them white sometimes if they could, or just leave them in there, and that helps the chickens to make it feel like it's safe. And then I've got one more box that I'm building, but I got to get a different top for it. That's just to make them feel safe, because it's too short. But there are little chickens there. Look at them, they look like little chicken hawks. Still got their little baby peeping sound, but they got all their little adult feathers. Not very big yet. In about 12 weeks, we'll have some eggs starting to come out of them, which will be great, and then we'll start breeding them like crazy. That's the goal. So originally, at one point, I had 275 chickens or 250 chickens in here at one point, and I designed the room to hold about 350 to 500 chickens at max capacity. So we'll have more of these, and double stacked hen boxes, and they should all be able to fit in here nice and day. Now these are all free range chickens, so they get to go out during the day right there, which is blocked right now because I've just been cleaning up. But right here, let me get it, is a door, and I open that up in the morning time, and the roosters are kind enough to bring all the ladies back in at night, and they go in and out as they please. And they usually just stick around here or down by the river. They usually don't go too far, but right now I haven't let them out because we've got foxes that are all running around right now, and they're still too young, so they'll pop right out of that, just underneath that window, and do their chicken business. Well, I think that's all the update I have time for right now. There is a little bit more, but we'll get to it in another video. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the tips and what's new.